Ducati pushed out the rider who gave them their greatest era. Before a single lap of the 2026 season had been run, and the man they discarded chose to turn down more money than Aprilia could offer, walk away from a Japanese manufacturer entirely, and bet everything on a project built around friendship, national pride, and the most dangerous Italian pairing MotoGP has seen in a generation. And understanding how Bagnaia made that choice starts with what Ducati actually put on the table, and what it revealed about how they see the next era of the sport. Francesco Bagnaia did not leave Ducati. Ducati left him. Slowly, then all at once. He holds more wins, poles and podiums in Ducati colours than any rider in the manufacturer's history. Back-to-back titles in 2022 and 2023. A third championship lost on the final lap of the final race of 2024 in a contest so close it required a mathematical recount. For years, he was the untouchable number one, the rider around whom the entire project was constructed. Then Marquez arrived, and in the ruthless calculus of MotoGP, one difficult season alongside the most talented rider of his generation was enough to shift the calculation. Ducati looked at Bagnaia's fifth place in 2025 and looked at Pedro Acosta's championship lead after round 1 of 2026 and made its decision. The only path to staying at Borgo Panigale was accepting a substantial salary reduction, a message dressed as a negotiation. Bagnaia declined. "I believe I am a front-runner rider," he said during the Sepang test, "so my ambitions must always lead me to stay at the forefront." He also ruled out any satellite option, including VR46, the team of his longtime mentor Valentino Rossi, effectively ending 8 years at the manufacturer that shaped his entire career before the season had started. When asked about the situation, his response was composed and almost philosophical. "It is what it is. We are living in a world that is always super fast." Then, quoting Jorge Lorenzo with quiet precision, "You are always remembered for the last races you do. It's normal that it is like this." Before we go any further, if you enjoy real MotoGP analysis, the contracts, the politics, the stories behind the headlines, subscribe. Now back to the move nobody fully expected, because Bagnaia's first choice was not Aprilia, it was Japan, and specifically Yamaha. With Quartararo heading to Honda and Jorge Martin finalising his own Yamaha deal, the obvious path seemed to be the second factory seat, pairing the 2024 and 2025 title rivals who had actually been teammates in Moto3 back in 2015, as Yamaha's factory duo for the 850 cubic centimetre era. Yamaha wanted it. Reports from multiple sources suggested the deal was practically agreed. Then two things happened simultaneously. Yamaha's V4 project continued to deteriorate through testing, reliability problems that caused a self-imposed ban from running during the Sepang shakedown, running over a second slower than the benchmark, and across the paddock, Massimo Rivola refused to accept that Bagnaia was going to Iwata. The Aprilia CEO had already secured Bezzecchi's contract extension as his foundation. "Renewing Marco was our main priority," Rivola said, after confirming the deal. "Once that priority was set, we will see how the market evolves." He then began the pursuit of Bagnaia with a pitch that went beyond salary figures, one built on identity. 2 Italians, 2 VR46 Academy graduates, 2 riders who have known each other since their junior careers, a genuine friendship between future teammates, and a bike that had just dominated the opening race of the season. Bagnaia's first offer from Aprilia was rejected. Yamaha still looked like the destination. Rivola came back. "I'm not saying yes or no," he said publicly. "There are interesting scenarios, but if Aprilia continues to demonstrate its growth and shows it can build fast bikes, the top riders will come. Thailand answered that question before the paddock had even unpacked. The second offer landed, and Bagnaia made his call. Do you think Bagnaia made the right decision choosing Aprilia over Yamaha's bigger financial offer? Or is he taking a risk on a project that hasn't won a championship yet? Drop your answer in the comments. At the Buriram test, 2 days before the season opener, Bagnaia gave the paddock exactly the non-confirmation it had been waiting for. It's right that there are rumours, he smiled. Within a few days, many announcements will come from many teams. You'll know everything in a few days. The following day, asked point blank if he had decided. I've just decided. Pressed for more. I made my decision instinctively. I chose what I thought was best for me. Not the salary. Yamaha's offer was reportedly substantially higher. Not the history. Bagnaia has none at Aprilia. The project, the bike, the team, the person standing in the other half of the garage. Bezzecchi asked about the prospect of his close friend and VR46 Academy brother joining him, gave the most relaxed answer of the entire winter. I don't care who will be on the other side of the garage. I just think about riding. It was the response of a rider who had already processed what this pairing means and decided the most useful thing he could do was focus on the machine rather than the politics surrounding it. 2 Italians. 2 VR46 graduates. 2 of the most technically precise riders of their generation. Bagnaia, a rider who dissects a setup with the detail of an engineer, who drove Ducati to heights the manufacturer had never reached before his arrival, and who carries the weight of being the only man in the team's history to win multiple world titles. Bezzecchi, a rider whose natural speed and racecraft proved in Thailand that Aprilia is not just competitive, but dominant when the conditions are right, and who had already reset his career at Noailor after a difficult final year at VR46. Together, on a bike already winning races, with 850 cubic centimetres regulations approaching that reset every advantage Ducati accumulated. Rivola made a sentimental appeal built on friendship, national pride, and the dream of 2 Italian riders reclaiming their sport. Bagnaia heard it and chose it over a bigger salary. That decision tells you everything about what he believes the next era of MotoGP will look like and who he thinks can win it. Will Bagnaia and Bezzecchi at Aprilia be the most dangerous pairing of the 850 cubic centimetres era? Or does Ducati's Marquez and Acosta combination still start as favourites? Bagnaia turned down more money to make this move. Do you think the competitive project justifies that decision? Or has he made the wrong call? And which Italian do you think performs better in 2027? Bagnaia rebuilding his career or Bezzecchi building on Thailand? If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe. There is a lot more of this coming. Leave your answers in the comments below.